Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis. It's Thursday. That's right. Thursday, September the 10th. It just seems like September 1st was the other day. Now we're almost a third through this month. We've got a great show for you here on HCCTV's Up to the Minute. For the next half hour or so, you'll get your HCC news and information. We got a couple of special guests, but first things first, Brittany Pacheco joining me from her home studio. Good morning, Brittany.
Hey, good morning, Todd. It is Thursday, as you said. It's a really busy day for the city of Houston in the world of sports. You've got the Rockets, Astros, and it's the first day back for the Texans. They take on the Chiefs tonight. I'm repping. Are y'all repping? Be sure to let us know down in the comments. As always, I'm here to remind you to please follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't forget about our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be the first to find out the latest from us. And last but not least, to our audience, we do need your help because we also want to grow our audience for Up to the Minute. And you can help by sharing this podcast so that we can share all this great information to everyone out there.
That's right, Brittany. Of course, if you have any questions during our show, make sure you type in the comments below. Brittany will let me try saying that. I'm tongue twisted today. Brittany will relay those questions to us and we'll make sure we get your answers. We've got a couple of special guests on the show today. Of course, it is Thursday, Virtual Family Fun Thursday, and we've got James joining us. He's the Vice President of Education from Lone Star Flight Museum. James, I apologize. Can you pronounce your last name? Is it pronounced Talmage?
Just Talmage.
Talmage. Okay. All right. James, we appreciate you joining us. We've got a lot to talk with you about the Lone Star Flight Museum, everything you're offering online. We'll be back with you shortly. Stick around. But first, we're going to talk, we've been highlighting our centers of excellence over the past few months, and today's no exception. We've got Dr. Kumela Tafa, the chair of the Department of Natural Sciences, professor of physics and astronomy. Good to see you again, Dr. Tafa.
Good to be here, Todd.
We appreciate you joining us this morning. I want to start off talking about the Division of Natural Sciences and what all your Center of Excellence covers. Can you tell us about the programs? I know you teach physics and astronomy. What does your program, though, cover under that center?
That's a good question. We cover all sciences except biology and chemistry. So that means in our division, we have astronomy and physics, as you have mentioned at the beginning, and then we have geology, and we have horticulture and agriculture, and we also have technical mathematics. All these are under our division. And if you look at the students' pathways, then that is a little different from other academic disciplines. In other academic disciplines, either you are a workforce or academic, but in our division, we are academics as well as workforce programs.
And I was going to ask you about that because workforce and academics usually are separated, but in yours they come together. I would imagine a program like horticulture could train students for the workforce because people don't necessarily think horticulture. What's that all about? Well, you know, construction's hot in Houston, and everywhere where you have construction, there seems to be a bit of a green space, and you're training the students who go out there and maintain and design those green spaces as well.
Exactly, that's absolutely right. So when people hear about horticulture, they say, oh, what has that got to do with the green space? It has a lot to do. And the students we are training, yes, they do make a platform to maintain those green areas we have mentioned. And they are not really the front workers as one might think. They assume some managerial positions. And actually, you could say those students in our division get job before they complete their training.
And, you know, you think of people say, well, where are those jobs? You know, Houston, do you have those jobs available? Well, you know what? I live off of Memorial, right down the street. You got Memorial Park. And guess what? They've just opened some fantastic new green spaces. I imagine they're going to need people to manage those spaces and also help with the planning of all the construction they have going on as well. So that would be, I guess, a good example of where your students can go work in the future.
Absolutely. That is one of them. And in fact, even the industry, the green industry is, you could say, a multi-billion-dollar industry right now, even in the state of Texas and in Houston area. There are companies who come down to HCC and come and talk to us to support us training students, to give scholarships for students. There is no other program that actually companies come and say, oh, we'll give you money, please train these students for us. So that is actually horticulture today at HCC. We get support from industry to train students.
And it seems like horticulture would be a great job to have in the future, because you're not depending on the economy. Of course, the economy could be booming or it could be lagging, but a lot of times when you have these green spaces, they're paid for by public entities, or like in Memorial Park's case, they're paid for by a conservatory.
Exactly. So that is what makes this really attractive, especially applied, as we call it, the associate degree we are offering is applied landscaping technology. Okay, so that directly ties to the green job we are talking about. So yes, absolutely. This it doesn't depend on whether the economy is booming or in downside. It's always there. It will be always there.
Your programs, do you offer certifications through your programs, 2-year degrees, and are there chances to continue on to a 4-year degree through a partnering university?
Yes, absolutely. In horticulture program, we have applied, as I've said, AS, Applied Associate of Science. And also there is a pathway for the people who want to continue to 4-year degrees. We are working with the local 4-year universities, so they can take that path, or they can directly go to and join jobs. Yes.
And tell me about how things have been going for you since March. I mean, all of our lives changed in March with online instruction. How has your department been dealing with that? And have you been able to manage delivering that education to students and allowing them to complete things like labs and stuff you would normally be taking in the classrooms?
That's a very good question. Since March, of course, we started in the middle of the spring term. So the spring term became kind of what do you call a training or a transition for us, a transition to what was coming. So as you know, in spring, most of our courses are face-to-face. We have very few limited courses online. Faculty are not trained to teach online. Students were not ready to take courses online, but we transitioned. We had about 2-3 weeks. In those 2-3 weeks, faculty worked very hard, prepared changed their modality to online. Well, we cannot say we really 100% satisfied with that, but as I said, it is a transition. It was a learning moment. We built on that and went to the summer session. Okay, so we refined on our experience from the spring term during the summer session, and you could say that was one of the most successful sessions we had in the new modality. And so still we are working on that.
What has been the reaction of the students? I know in the beginning they were very apprehensive, but have things settled down now? Are students getting used to working online for their educational needs?
Very good question. Again, that is one thing we need to really look into very carefully. We all learn differently. Learning is not just in black and white. Okay, this is the way to go. If that is the way to go, we don't have to have all these modalities. We would have done it in one way. So as such, for education being that we learn. All of us learn in different ways. There are students still who want to be in the classroom. There are students who are comfortable with online educational delivery. Okay, but yes, when our students know from the beginning what to expect, when we tell them this is what is expected, okay, because of the pandemics under which we are. And so they used to it, they get used to it, and they try to, follow the expectations, even if it is not ideal for them. So that is true also for our faculty. Our faculty who want to be in the classroom, okay, and sitting in front of a computer and talking to students and, missing that one-to-one interaction and looking into the eye of the student and say, oh, this student has got what I'm doing. So they are missing that. Most of our faculty do miss that, but they do understand also the risks. So we all are working and we are adapting.
As we are, it's certainly a new world we're living in right now, Dr. Tafa. Dr. Kumela Tafa, we appreciate you joining us this morning. I know you're looking forward to getting the students back in the building. We hope it's sooner rather than later.
Yes, absolutely. We are looking to that, and hopefully everything will be in place, and the fear factor will go down. So that's the main thing. So we prepare ourselves, prepare our students psychologically, as well as with whatever we have and we can, and we are really ready to go back to college and campus.
Aren't we all? Thanks, Dr. Tafa. Thanks for being here and joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And we are going to move across town, in fact, to the Ellington Air Force Base. Did you know that the Lone Star Flight Museum is out there? I visited Lone Star Flight Museum many years ago at their old location in Galveston. In 2017, they moved. They're a little bit closer to the Houston area, and we're joined right now by James, and you are out there right now. Tell us where you're sitting in front of, James, because you're in front of, it looks like just a regular small plane right now.
Right. This is the Moody hangar. This is our teaching hangar. It's not a background. I'm actually in the museum. We are open. So this is part of the Aviation Learning Center. It's our facility here where we teach the science of flight. The kids come in and they do a pre-flight inspection of our plane here. So this is our one hands-on plane, and then we have a bay of flight simulators where the students can come in and actually practice flying skills.
And James, are students allowed in there now? Have crowds been back? And have you guys reopened? And how long were you closed for?
We are open. That's kind of the most important thing. We actually, over the last week, when we opened 100%. We opened our doors back up at the end of May. So we've actually been open for a while. Very cautiously, the people can flow through. We set up a flow through pattern where people can distance basically go through and see the entire museum, but spread out. One of the advantages of the museum, it's huge. Our exhibits are aircraft, so we have plenty of room so people can come in and really move around and see the entire museum, but very, very spread out.
And tell me about some of the educational programs you have available. When we all had to shut down for a few months, were you guys placing a lot of information online for educators and for students and for the general public?
Right, we were placing as much as we can online. We actually did get furloughed. The museum shut down for a while, and so the staff wasn't working, but we pushed as much as we can online. Transferred a lot of our in-house educational material into digital that could be completed on the website. We tried to switch a lot of our distance learning, which we had done limited distance learning on, really beefing that up now, working on TEKS-based curriculum where we can basically mimic a field trip to the museum by doing a virtual, a Zoom tour instead of a walking tour. And we're about to push a lot more curriculum out. We're just finishing it up. So we're about to put a lot more curriculum that's TEKS-based, that's very much usable within lesson plans for teachers. So there is a lot of new stuff about to come out.
I was going to ask you about that virtual field trip, because I imagine that's going to be kind of interesting. You would have a class that can join you, and is it a live virtual field trip, or is it something that they would log on to, say, YouTube, and they can watch the video?
It's live, and so generally I do it or our docents do it, and we mimic our docent tours as much as we can. We have the chat And so people can log in as a class and do, they're all in the room together, and do the live tour, or individuals can log in from home. And so there really is no limit on how many different people, different locations can log in. And then we really mimic a docent tour. We go through, we have two hangars, so it takes about an hour to get through the hangars. One of the interesting advantage to doing a virtual tour, when you're here, you have to stay behind the chains. You're not allowed to get up close to the planes. When it's me and a camera, we can actually crawl underneath the B-17 and look up into the bomb bay doors. We can put the camera up into the cockpit, so you can actually see a little bit more. It's really hard to replicate being here and seeing them for real. But we try to, take the chains down some and show you a little bit more virtually that you would not be able to see as if you were here in the building.
Years ago, and I think it might have been through your museum, I'm not quite sure, but when I was in my news days, I remember going to do a story on one of the bombers, and they took the media up for an actual ride in the plane. And one thing they made clear to us, they said, this is an older plane. Don't step on those doors over there because you will fall through the bottom. I remember that to this day because I got nowhere near the doors.
Right. That really is one of the unique things about about this museum. A lot of flight museums are static. We are not static. Everything in our hangar is on wheels, so it all moves around. Basically, we have 25 plus planes. Most of them are old warbirds. They're 80 years old, and they're maintained. They're in flight-worthy condition, but they're 80 years old. So it's a little bit tough to get parts and things for some of these. But we are a flying museum. We have flights going out about every Saturday morning. We fly our T6 Texan is very popular, and then the Stearman is the biplane. The locals on this side of town are kind of used to seeing our planes circling overhead. And then we do have the flight-worthy B-17 and the B-25 bombers that are really cool rides. But that really is one of the things that sets this museum apart, is that we open up our hangars and take our planes out and we fly them.
I know Brittany's a big fan of the flyovers because she's talked about it herself. You've had an up-close personal experience with that, Brittany?
Yeah, so when the Lone Star Flight Museum had their flyover, I live in the northwest side of town, so over here in the Tomball kind of area, my husband and I, we drove to Willowbrook Mall in the empty parking lot. We obviously weren't alone. Everyone else had the same idea. And so got some chairs, sat outside and just waited for it. It was really, really cool to see all those old bombers, just in action, if you will. And because we unfortunately missed the Blue Angels, we heard it, but we missed seeing that actual flyover. So I was really happy about seeing this one over the summer. It was really great.
It seems like, James, everyone who's lived in the Houston area has a personal experience with some of your planes that have flown over at one time, or maybe they've been out to the air show a time or two. But do you notice that when people come in, they have a story or two they tell about when they've seen your planes before sometime in the air?
Yeah, that really is a neat thing when people come in to visit. I try to go down to the hangars and answer questions and chat with people and that. And one of the things that's real common is everybody kind of has a story to tell. It may be our planes, that they got to fly in one of our planes or they saw one somewhere. But the really neat stories are when they say, my grandpa was an engineer on a B-17, and they sit there looking at it and they can imagine, that relative, being up there and knowing, which gun they sat at.
Right.
And it really brings out, makes it real life. They've heard the stories of, grandpa telling us war stories and that kind of stuff. But it really brings to life, in their imagination, what it was like to be on those planes. There's stories of somebody may have told the story of being a turret gunner, and then when you see it, and it's not very big,
No, it's
Imagine,
amazing.
you know, your grandpa shoved into that little thing for hours at a time. I think the stories and the memories that it brings out really is a neat thing when you come and talk to our visitors.
What is your most popular item at the museum? Yeah, whether it's a plane or a piece of history, what is your most popular one, you think?
But I think it's the B-17 is kind of the crown jewel of our collection. We actually have a lot of things that B-17. I think there's 3 of them left in the world. Some of our warbirds, they're the only ones in existence that are flight worthy. So that's one of the really neat things, is that we've got these planes that they can go up in the air, and there's only a couple of them left, and the B-17 is one of those.
James Melange from the Lone Star Flight Museum. Where can people go to learn more about the museum and to get tickets or get information?
Our website is lonestarflight.org. We are on social media, Instagram. We've got our Facebook post. We do a lot of programming for kids, things that you can do on the weekends and that. So if you check our website, lonestarflight.org, and then you know, our Instagram and our Facebook have a lot of up-to-the-minute information.
We appreciate you joining us, James. And remember, folks, the Lone Star Flight Museum has reopened. Make sure you go out and visit them. Thanks for being here. All right, Brittany, we're going to move across to you. How's the connection now? It seems like the past couple of days we've had some internet connection problems.
You know, everyone decided to jump on the internet, you know, simultaneously. I know John's in the other room right now, giving a lesson to his 3rd graders. So, you know, it happens. It's the day and age that we live in. But internet connection seems really good right now, Todd.
All right, so we'll keep moving forward. If I drop out, I'll try to sign back in. So just keep an eye out for that, Brittany. Folks, we want to let you know it's not too late. If you are looking to take classes in the fall, our second semester starts September 21st. We've got financial aid available, scholarships available, different things to help you get through college, payment plans. All that is available. All you need to do is go and sign up, and you can register up to the first day of classes, Brittany, and I believe that's September 21st.
That is absolutely correct, Todd. So to reiterate everything that Todd just said, if you're looking to maybe just, you know, dip your toe in the college experience, this is a great opportunity to find a class that fits your schedule, because as Todd said, Second Start begins next week, which... No, just kidding. In 2 weeks, September 21st, it's on a Monday. I'm looking at my calendar to make sure I can calendar. So yes, be sure to sign up to the day of classes beginning. Once again, that's September 21st. Be sure to head over to hccs.edu/now to do so.
All in for HCC. The HCC faculty and staff campaign is underway, and our students need our help more than ever. HCC Foundation is asking for you to help them overcome financial struggles. Some students that may have been furloughed, some of them may have unfortunately lost their job due to the COVID situation, or they're just having a hard time finding some work to support their school. We want to alleviate that by providing more funds to our students. Through the foundation, you can show our students how strong we are by donating to the annual faculty and staff campaign. It runs now through September or through November the 6th. So you've got a little time to sign up, but please do so. Sign up, and I believe you can set up to have your donation taken out of your paycheck on a monthly basis, however you'd like to set it up, or may even make a one-time donation. Every little bit helps with our students, Brittany. It
does, because for students like me who came to HCC and, you know, finances were concerned, this makes all the difference in the world. And because of that, I obviously want to give back and help support other students to make sure that their education goals are met. So be sure to give today, everyone, whatever you can spare for other students. It's a great cause. So hashtag all in for HCC. It's very true. We also have Help After Harvey. And did you know that there is a grant that's still available now for returning and current students? So if you have questions about this, get hands-on, but virtual help with tuition and fees, books, transportation, housing, childcare assistance, and much more. Much more. We're going to have morning and afternoon sessions available. You can head over to hccs.edu/Harvey Assistance for more information.
You know, it's hard to believe, Brittany, but people still do need help from a hurricane that was 3 years ago. Some people lost everything. And, you know, getting back on your feet when you lose everything, or say you just lost your job for a few weeks, that can be really tough, especially for our students.
It really is, Todd. And I think this is great that we offer assistance for our students to make sure that, you know, these daily challenges that they may experience are going to be subsided. So any little bit helps. And it's just a great opportunity for students who are in need of aid to receive aid from us.
Absolutely. And it's a grant, so you don't have to repay this. It's like a scholarship. This is money that will be given to you through a grant situation. So keep that in mind. hccs.edu/Harvey Assistance is the website once again. There's this faculty, staff, pulse survey. HCC is needing your input to help guide decisions as HCC plans for fall reopening. The anonymous 4-minute survey remains open until Tuesday, September 15th at 5 p.m., Brittany. So look through your emails, take the survey, and the keyword here, Brittany, is it does remain anonymous, but it will help our administration make some decisions on how we reopen.
Absolutely. And that also will impact presumably what the rest of our fall schedule is going to look like, because as we've already said, Second Start will begin September 21st. And once again, you have until that date to register for classes. Another important date for our faculty is September 28th, because they will be returning to the classroom to prepare for in-person classes, which would begin the following week on October 5th. So for students who are enrolled in Flex Campus and or lab-based courses, you will be returning for in-class or in-person instruction rather beginning October 5th at a very limited capacity. We've talked about how classes were going to be much smaller this go round, so be prepared for that. And once again, if you're interested in signing up for Second Start classes, be sure to head over to hccs.edu/now, because it's not too late, not at all.
That's right, Brittany. You know, October 5th, as Brittany just mentioned, is our target date to get some students back in the building for our flex learning and the lab-based courses options, learning modalities. If you need some Wi-Fi coverage or a hotspot until then, you're welcome to go to our campuses, students. HCC campuses are closed right now, but our parking lot resources serve as an outdoor Wi-Fi or hotspot zone. So you can, you're available to connect to the internet. It is free of charge for our students. You won't have access to our restrooms inside the building, so make sure you take care of that before you get to the campus. And you will not have access to charge your devices. So you may want to bring some things like, I don't know, something like this, so you can plug in your device, a portable charger or something like that. So make sure you do that. If you need connection, students, we're here to serve you. To learn more about the outdoor Wi-Fi zones, go to hccs.edu/outdoor Wi-Fi.
That is correct, Todd. And one other online resource we have available for our students is a one-stop guide for technology, textbooks, and tutoring, and much, much more. And that is our online services toolkit. So for students who are interested in learning more about this resource that's available right at your fingertips, because that's just what the world is like right now, be sure to go to hccs.edu/online-toolkit.
We are about out of time, Brittany. It is, boy, this week just flew on by. I don't know about you. It seemed like Monday was just the other day. We had a couple of days at work. Now we're moving into Friday. Tomorrow on the show, Chris Carmian. He is the Program Director of Criminal Justice and Law Enforcement Department in the Public Safety Center of Excellence. We'll be here to talk about jobs in that field and one of Brittany's other favorite guests.
Yes, we'll be joined by our quote-unquote resident poet, Dr. Jimmy Adams, who will be sharing another wonderful piece with us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So be sure to join us tomorrow morning for this great information, once again with our Public Safety Institute and Dr. Jimmy Adams' poems. So we'll see you all tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for Up to the Minute.